Hi, boys and girls. You're going to need your Iready books today. So you can pause the video at any time if you have a question. And I want you to open to page 92, lesson 6, ask and answer questions about stories. When you ask questions about what you read, answering those questions will help you understand the key details in a story. Asking questions as you read will help you find out and understand key details. Key details are important pieces of information, like who and what the story is about. Answering questions can also help you show what you know about the story. Look carefully at this cartoon. What questions could you ask about it? Here we see Maria and Pete went for a hike with Mom and Dad. They came to a wide river. How will we get across? Well, when you're looking over here, who was in the story? Maria, Pete, Mom, and Dad. What did they do? They went on a hike. Another question you might ask is, what did they see? What did they come to? The answer would be, they came to a river. Where does the story take place? You could say it took place by a river. Maybe they're on a hike in the woods. Why do they want to cross the river? Well, maybe they want to get to the other side. So sometimes you can ask questions when you're reading. Think about what has happened in stories that you've read. Oftentimes we read a story and we have these characters. And as we're reading, sometimes it's important to ask ourselves questions about the story to make sure we understand what's going on, what's happening in the story. So let's flip over to Saving the Train by Annika Peterson. Owen and Amy walked along the Green River. They had never seen the water so high. A storm the day before had brought heavy rain. As they walked around a bend in the river, they could hardly believe their eyes. The railroad bridge over the river had fallen into the rushing water. The noon train will be here soon, Owen said to his sister. It'll crash right into the river. We've got to go tell someone. There is no time to get anyone, Amy said. We'll have to stop it ourselves. I have an idea, she shouted as she turned and sped home. When she got there, Amy took a big white tablecloth from the table. She grabbed a can of red paint and a brush. Then she painted the words, "Stop! Bridge out" on the cloth. Amy dashed as fast as she could back to Owen. They could hear the train coming. They held the painted cloth between them and waved. But the train flew by. Had no one seen their warning? A second later, the train's brakes screeched and its whistle blew loudly. It came to a full stop. Amy and Owen had saved the train. So in our purple box right here, it tells us, underline key details about important parts of the story. These are details that answer who, what, when, where, and why type of questions. So I want you to take a minute and pause the video. And if something answers who, like who's in the story, what did they do? Why did they do it? Where did they do it? I want you to underline those key details that you think are important. So go ahead and pause our video while you do that. Some things you might have underlined are Owen and Amy, because there are who. Okay? What happened? They see that the railroad bridge had fallen into the rushing water. That might be something important. Maybe you picked that she painted the words, "Stop, bridge out." What did they do? They held the painted cloth between them and waved. So you may have picked different things that you thought were important in this passage. Over here, I want you to make your own questions about the story. For example, who are the main characters? Then you would answer, Owen and Amy. For example, where did the story take place? What happened on the bridge? Why did the bridge fall? What could happen to the train? How did they warn the train? Did they save the train? So what I want you to do is to pause our video to come up with some who, what, when, where, why, how questions and answers that you can find in the passage. And when you are finished, you can share your questions and answers with somebody in your class or someone at home.